Hello students, today in this video I am going to discuss types of motivation. In my previous video regarding motivation, I have already discussed different definitions of motivation along with its nature and characteristics. Today we will go through different types of motivation. The points we are going to discuss today are positive and negative motivation, rational and emotional motivation, primary and secondary motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and lastly, financial and non-financial motivation. I mean to say these are different types of motivation that we are going to discuss today. Before starting the video, I would like to request each and everybody to be very attentive. So without wasting time, let's start the video. Positive and negative motivation. If someone asks us, what do you understand by positive motivation and what do you understand by negative motivation, then simply we'll have to give certain examples. For example, if a student is reading hard, okay, studying hard, suppose the teacher is promising him or her to reward, okay, with certain things after the examination. If he or she is able to pass the examination with flying colors, then he will definitely work hard, he will definitely study hard, or she will definitely study hard. So that type of motivation, in a sense, we can say call what motivation it is? Positive motivation. Okay. On the other hand, suppose if a student, okay, is studying hard just for the sake of not to fail in the examination, okay, that type of motivation is called negative motivation. Okay, one more example, if the teacher is telling a student, okay, that if you do not pass the examination, I will punish you. So for the fear of punishment, if the student is studying hard, okay, then that type of motivation is called negative motivation. So this is all about positive and negative motivation. I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. So in this slide we are going to discuss rational and emotional motivation. Now, what do you understand by rational and emotional motivation? Let's discuss the first one, rational motivation. Rational motivation means if someone is getting motivated with a logical thinking, okay, that type of motivation is called what? Rational motivation. If we understand all these things from educational perspective, then the example will be like this. For example, if a student understands that he is adapting science and only after that he is opting for science stream after SSLC examination, then this type of motivation is called rational motivation. Okay. On the other hand, if the student, okay, understands that he is not adapting science, even after that, okay, he is emotionally attached with the subject science, that type of motivation is called what? Emotional motivation. Okay, even after understanding that he is not adept in science, he is opting for science streaming HS. Okay, that type of motivation is called what? Emotional motivation. Okay, so this is all about rational and emotional motivation. So I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. So here we are going to discuss primary and secondary motivation. Now let us discuss primary motivation. Primary motivation is generally, in a sense, we can say related to what? The primary needs. Okay, for example, food, okay, shelter, clothes, okay. These are the factors, okay, that come under what? Primary motivation. On the other hand, what do you understand by secondary motivation? Secondary motivation is, in a sense, we can say all about what? Appraisal, okay, praise, okay, appreciation. So these are all about primary and secondary motivation. Now we will proceed to the next slide. So here we will discuss intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. These two types of motivations are very important in the field of education. Now, what do you understand by intrinsic motivation? So in simple sense, Intrinsic motivation refers to what? Empowering yourself. It is also known as self-motivation. Here, motivational stimuli comes from within. Getting the point? An individual gets the motivational stimuli not from the outer world, but he gets the motivational stimuli from within. Okay, so here in that case, he has the desire to perform a specific task willingly. Okay, that type of, in a sense we can say, motivation is called intrinsic motivation. For example, curiosity. For example, acceptance. For example, power. Okay, suppose one student is very much curious to know about the organization NASA, suppose, and after that getting motivated, he is or she is working on what? The collection of what? Information regarding NASA, and that type of motivation is called what? Intrinsic motivation. Okay, and what do you understand by extrinsic motivation? This is purely opposite to intrinsic motivation. So what I mean to say is that in extrinsic motivation, stimuli comes from outside. Okay, so in simple sense we can say it is related to the desire to do something. Okay, and that is controlled by an outside source. Okay, for example, if a teacher is announcing reward, okay, to the student, that if you pass the examination with flying color, I will give you what? Particular reward. That type of motivation is called what? Extrinsic motivation. Why? Because the student is getting motivation from the teacher, and here to get the reward, he or she will study hard to pass the examination with flying colors. So that type of motivation is called what? Extrinsic motivation. So this is all about intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Okay, I hope you understood. Now we can proceed to the next slide. In this slide, okay, we are going to discuss financial and non-financial motivation. So these type of motivations are, I think, very clearly understood by all of you. So while someone is asking you what is the definition of financial motivation, then you will have to answer him or her that financial motivation is related to what? Money. For example, in a particular company, okay, if the boss is offering incentive, okay, or he is increasing salary to motivate his employees, okay, that type of motivation is called financial motivation. Okay, and if someone asks you what is the definition of non-financial motivation, then you'll have to simply answer that this is not related to money. Okay, here the boss in the same company, instead of providing incentives, okay, or increasing his salary, he can praise the employee. Okay, he can create certain opportunity for the employee so that he or she can get motivated and work harder for the betterment of the company. Okay, so this is all about the financial and non-financial motivation. Okay, so in this video we have already discussed different types of motivation and examples also. I hope you understood. Okay, thank you, keep learning.